Hello, it's Nikki. Well, what a lovely backdrop I've got today. I'm sitting on a stool in my kitchen next to the oven. I'm just juggling, It's a juggling morning, certainly. I wanted to share this video with me to you, because I shared this concept with a client earlier in the week, and it really made me reminisce about pre-internet and how business was done, I guess, back in the day, and certainly as when I was a kid as well. So I grew up in a village which was near to a small town. It was very much one of those, like, everybody knows everything, like, oh right, oh I saw, oh you've been on holiday, oh it's all right, we know where you've been, we know what you've been doing. Yeah, there was no room to hide, basically. Somebody knew something about somebody. And I want to give you an example of a character I've kind of merged together from lots of different people that I knew. And I'm going to call him Mick for the purposes of this. So it's not based on one specific person, in case somebody from back then is like, are you talking about my dad? No, I'm not. I'm kind of pulling it together. So if we go back to the 90s or the 80s, a long time ago, pre-internet, when I was 4 years old, we moved house. And my mum and dad would sort of say, like, they bought this house and they stretched to do that. And my mum tells this story that my brother was about 6 months old. Or, even the first couple of months of his life, my mum would walk past this house and think, I want to live there. Like, I feel like it's my house. And it was way over budget at the time. And then it was still on the market, and then it became reduced. Anyway, it finally all sort of fell into place and it all worked out in this brilliant kind of way. But because it was at the top end of their budget, it was very much the sort of house that they knew that they would have to move into and then slowly but surely do what they wanted to do, which they did. And with it being a small town and being in a village and things like that, what you tended to do was to use similar kind of people. So I wouldn't necessarily say my mum and dad were particularly DIY savvy. So it did mean that lots of people helped us to renovate our home, which was a great thing. And it was interesting based on how people did business back in the day. So it was about a recommendation, or it was about somebody saying, I've had this done, this is what I'm looking for. And I'm going to merge together this character called Mike. So Mike, we would quite often see, you'd be walking down the high street on a Saturday afternoon, and it would suddenly occur to my dad that he'd been thinking maybe about, I don't know, having a new set of shelves, or like that we were going to move something, or we were going to do something in the house. And he would bump into Mike and he'd go, oh, Mike, I've been meaning to phone you, And Mike, cool as a cucumber, would just be like, yeah, no problem. Give me a ring, mate. Give me a ring. And on one hand, you might be like, give me a ring. That seems like a very intimate kind of non-boundaried way of doing it, because we don't give people a ring now, right? In business, we don't. But Mike knew that my dad would be one of those customers who would pretty much come fully formed. So he wouldn't necessarily know the right piece of wood, or he wouldn't necessarily know whether it was going to be like a 2-day or a 3-day job, but he would know the outcome. He would know the solution. He's got my deodorant, brilliant. He would know what he would be looking for. So the fact that Mike was going, give me a ring, mate, no worries, like, we'll book it in, is very symptomatic of the relationship that he would have. And I am like that too with my regular clients. If I can do it, if I can move stuff like last minute. So I had a client the other day saying, thank you so much for switching that around and for being so flexible. That is no problem for me. My regular clients, I love them. They are brilliant. This is going to be a tricky thing near the oven. Are you going to sit? What are you going to do? Let's keep this bear safe. Are you going to sit here? Hi, I'm just finishing my story. So I'm not doing that like, hi, back to me, but I don't want it to be on film loads. All right, I'm back in the room. I had to put Luna down. So where was I up to? So Mike would be like, yeah, mate, give us a ring. And pretty much he would get things sorted. So he would be in our house like a few days later, by the weekend, early next week. You know how he's working. But then you would sometimes hear Mike on the phone. So whilst he was in our house, you could hear those waffly conversations of, I may be thinking perhaps, and I'm not sure, and can you just come over and can we have a long conversation, and can you come for Christmas lunch, and then we'll maybe think about it, and I don't want to do it right now. And Mike was excellent at sniffing out those conversations and going, oh no, sorry love, I'm fully booked. I'm fully booked. I can't do it, fully booked. And part of me was like, I didn't know he was fully booked because he's literally just turned up here. Like, he seems to have space in his calendar. But what I was noticing then was he was fully booked as far as people who didn't know what they wanted conversation. He gave himself full permission to hold that space for people and go and do your numbers, go and think about things, go and work through whatever it is you need to do, and then come back to me. He put himself in that expert position. He wasn't in that, oh, I've got to convince you and think about it and go back and forth and be in the conversation with you. He knew where he needed to be. And I have learned how to do that in my own business and my own brand, because what I used to do, I used to get involved in all the conversations and the back and forth, and then I felt like I had to convince people that this was going to be the right thing, and it was a lot of work. And so now I very much know where my boundaries are, and I have things in place, so I make sure that the clients who are, I guess, coming into my world and want to work with me one-on-one, it's really important for me to like them and enjoy their business and feel like I'm the right person to help them. But secondly, I want them in that place of going, these are the things that I want to happen, or this is the stuff that I want to look at. I don't want the, oh, I'm kind of thinking about maybe sort of kind of thing. So how do you do that? Well, I want you to think about and notice, how do potential clients or customers come to you? What is that gateway? What is the stuff that you put out there that people respond to, that people go, oh, I need to book that. Oh, I definitely need to do this, this, and this, or you're exactly what I've been looking for. Notice what that is. And then consider, before you give up your time, essentially, and I'm saying that with hesitation, because giving up your time, like, it's hard because I never feel like that, basically. It's all about energy, isn't it? But when I have a discovery call, generally, and this is why they convert so well, is generally by the time people come onto the call with me, they've done all of their work. It's just a case of tweaking and going, it's a bit of this and it's that, and I need to get started here, and we're opening our diaries and we're working out the next steps. It's not like I'm maybe thinking possibly about doing X, Y, and Z. So one thing that works really well for me is to be really boundaried in terms of my website. I'm very transparent about my pricing. I'm very transparent about who I help, who I support, what I do, what I don't, what my flavor is, and I really encourage you to do the same. So if you're finding that you're being really generic and you're getting a lot of customers or clients that don't necessarily feel aligned, it's probably an indication that there's more work to be done then. There's more words, there's more information, description, narrative that needs to go in terms of your copy. Maybe it's about a website. Maybe it's about what your own terms and conditions are, how you like to work, what your flavor is. So I hope that has been useful. If in doubt, go back to Mike. Are you being in a place where you're attracting the people who you just like go, give us a ring, mate, let's book it in, you're good to go? Those are the people you want to have in your world. And also those repeat customers again and again. I look at somebody like my dad, he would have been those repeat customers. And my dad in his own business, He would have had repeat customers in terms of like somebody's, you know, husband then goes to see him, somebody's dad, somebody's neighbor, somebody's friend from school, all of these elements. So it is then about doing a really good job, being consistent, doing and saying what you say that you're going to do, and having your word and your action this close. All that integrity is really key. I hope you found this useful. If you are interested in booking a free session, and if you have done your due diligence and had a look at my website and all the rest of it, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to go to the free session section over on my website, or you can sign up to a free masterclass if you want to get to know more about my work and how I roll. And can I get away with that? How I roll. I'm going to go with it. All right, I'm going to take this stuff out the oven now. Thanks so much for watching, for listening. I'll see you again very soon.